Hi, I'm Roy.
I'm Mike.
Welcome to Modern Minds.
I hope you enjoy the program.
Welcome back to the show. We're going to do a little bonus episode with our producer, and we're very happy to have him on here, and also Mr. Bolton. So I think we're here today to talk about Dadaism.
All right. So we've had some questions brought up about Dadaism, and of course I'm a Dadaist, and a lot of people out there in YouTube land probably are too and don't realize it. Dada was an art movement from the early 20th century from Switzerland, I believe. And of course it's changed from then to what it is now, but Dadaism is basically using something ridiculous or over the top to get a reaction out of people. Now, for instance, the Westboro Baptist Church. I know a lot of people hate this church and say that they're terrible for religion, and their protests of funerals and things like that are over the top. Well, they are. They're trying to make a point. And the founder of the Westboro Baptist Church, of course, passed now, so we can't ever get answers from him. And I think the people that have taken it over since him may not have the same beliefs he had. But it's clear to me after reading up on them and their history of their church, what he was trying to do was expose the ridiculousness of some mainstream religion. Because they would protest at funerals, as you're aware, with signs that say, God hates fags. Well, yeah.
Thank God for dead soldiers.
Yeah. From their literal interpretation of the Bible, yeah, God hates fags. And they were pointing out that there are things in the Bible that people who profess to believe in Jesus and in God and the Christian Bible don't follow, because it's incongruent with their everyday life, that they don't feel like they actually have to follow those particular parts of the Bible because they're from older books like Leviticus, stuff that's the old covenant, not the new covenant. So what they would do is they would get attention for the group, which they did. You never would have heard the Westboro Baptist Church had they not done that. But Dadaism is used in a lot of different ways. What you want to do is do something that is so different from what people expect to see that they have to think about their surroundings. There was a movement in the 90s and the early 2000s, which you may have seen. Andre Has a Posse. Have you ever seen this picture? Have you ever seen this picture?
No.
Google this. This is worth seeing. It was a close-up picture of Andre the Giant. It was black and white. It had his height, like 6'11", 4,000 pounds, however big this fucking dude was. And it said, Andre Has a Posse. It didn't mean anything. It meant nothing at all. But it meant the idea of this sign, this graffiti that you would see under overpasses and on the side of abandoned buildings, was made for you to stop and say, what the fuck does that mean? Andre Has a Posse? Is that a gang? What is this? Is this a marketing thing? What exactly is this? And of course, it didn't mean anything. It was Dadaism at its finest. But you can incorporate this in your daily life.
Was it at its finest, or have you seen one recently that's at its finest?
Westboro Baptist Church, I think, is the best example of Dadaism.
See, I was thinking about the frog on a unicycle.
Well, now that boy is, of course, Dadaism. He's a frog on a unicycle. And you'll see him in a lot of different situations, And people are like, what the fuck is the frog on the unicycle?
Just like I was.
Like you were. It's art. It was art to make you stop and think, why is that frog on that unicycle? Could a frog ride a unicycle? Well, how long has it been since I've seen a unicycle? Why would you ride a unicycle? Do frogs really look like that? Any kind of questions it could have brought up is better than just droning through the day.
So are the words that are above and below the picture, that boy,
oh shit, what up?
Right?
Yeah.
Was that meant to be incorporated into making us think, or was it just that art, the picture of the frog, that was supposed to make us think? Because if so, then I got way off track.
Well, originally the picture of the frog on a unicycle was from a science textbook, a college textbook. And someone took a picture of it and commented, I don't know if it was on Twitter, Tinder, Grindr, that's the app you use, right? Yeah. And any one of those kind of things. And somebody had captioned it with, oh shit, what up? And it just kind of got spread. And the Dadaism came later. Originally it wasn't meant to be Dadaist, but now it is. A lot of memes are like that.
Would you say that Dadaism, is that right? Am I saying
yeah,
that right?
Yeah.
Is you believe in art, worship
I
art?
do. I don't worship art, but I believe in art. And it's avant-garde art. Postmodernism, I guess. But yeah, you can find art anywhere, and the issue with art, like my children have asked me about this, why is there a difference in art from the past and now? Well, pictures and video are the main difference. Because before, if you could paint a beautiful landscape, well, that was great. That's great art. There were no pictures to compare it against, you know. Now you can buy a high-definition camera, take a picture, have it printed off, put it on your wall. $20, and boom, beautiful picture. So art had to change when pictures became readily available, especially color. So then you had modern art where it kind of redefined what is art, you know, and art is a very subjective thing. You can't objectively define what art is, even Dadaism.
Because art's different for everybody.
Exactly, you know, and somebody may see value in something that another person doesn't. Of course, that's going to be based upon your life up to that point and the experiences that you've had. But Dadaism is my favorite form of art because it's ridiculous.
And it gets in people's heads.
It does. I mean, it's just, what the hell's he thinking? What is he doing? There was a movement, the Church of Euthanasia.
So it makes people think, basically.
Yeah.
Because you're going to think about that, not only that day, but you're going to be driving home, and you're still going to be thinking about that. And you'll think about that for a long time.
Andre Has a Posse was the one that introduced me to it. And this was before the ubiquity of the internet, having the answers for everything, you know, right there for you. And I had to do a lot of research before I found out that it didn't actually mean anything. You know, that there was nothing really to it.
So it made you work.
It did in fact make me work. There was the Church of Euthanasia, and I don't know if they still exist, but they used to do a lot of protests and stuff in the 90s. They were led by this guy, Reverend Chris Corda, I believe his name was, and I think he was a transgender. I'm not really for sure, so it could be she. You know, if so, I apologize.
So what year frame was this?
In the 90s.
Nice.
Yeah.
So transgender stuff has been going on for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's not new.
Yeah. People need to just get over it. You know, who cares what bathroom they went to, because men and women's clothing have been going to the women's bathroom for a long fucking time. And if they're a good transgender, you didn't know it. You know, they probably look better than some of your grandmas in there. You know? but I digress from that. But I want to talk about the Church of Euthanasia for a little bit. Their 4 tenets to their church were, let's see if I can remember these: cannibalism, abortion, sodomy, and murder. And they were for rapid depopulation of the planet. That's a lofty goal. Now, if I had to guess, they really were for population control, or probably for something ecological or green in some kind of way.
Right.
But they used Dadaism to get some exposure. Now, they would do things such as barbecue fetuses at a rally, or they would have babies on crosses nailed to it. And I'm talking some ridiculous stuff. They should still have a website out there. When September 11th came out, Reverend Corda, who was also an electronic musician, released a video that I implore you, don't look for it. Or do. Look for Blue Waffle, Goatsy, and then this. Go to the Church of Euthanasia. But I think the video is called I Like to Watch, and it was masturbation and pornography interspersed with filming from 9/11, such as the planes falling down. And
Wow.
so it was showing that, yeah, Americans, we really like to watch. We don't care what happens to people if it's not us, but we'll watch it. And that was art. Of course, it's extremely offensive because it's masturbation and people getting killed in a terrorist attack. But it's artistic at the same time, and that was Dadaism. But it was interesting, and it makes you think. And the takeaway I took from it, of course everybody could take something different. Some people just be disgusted and turn it off. The takeaway I get from it is we are a voyeuristic society.
Right.
That watching people have sex is about the same in our minds as watching people fight wars in another country. When we see a building...
It's so mainstream, though. We see it all the time.
All the time. We're constantly pounded with it. And there's a concept that you become the person you spend time with, or you become a compilation of the 10 people you spend the most time with. And I found that mostly to be true. That you've got your family members that you see a lot, you've got your co-workers that you spend the most time with. You become kind of an amalgamation of those people. You pick up their mannerisms, you pick up the way they act, the way they talk, all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of the same way with what you see. That if you're constantly being presented with news that shows the world is just falling apart, gun deaths, people being murdered, all this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, but you don't compare it to the actual facts, you don't think that that's true. Fellas, we live in the safest world we have ever had. You have the least amount of chance of being killed and murdered, any kind of violent crime happening to you that we've ever had, and that's worldwide. Worldwide, less people starve to death than ever have. Worldwide, less people are homeless than ever before. Worldwide, less people are killed in war, killed in murder, anything. But you wouldn't know that from the news. Those statistics are readily available. But if it bleeds, it leads.
Sure.
So, and we're forced with that all the time. Does it have an effect on us? Maybe. You can't really say violent video games and violent movies turn you into a violent person, because I love violent video games and violent movies. Those are the best movies and the best video games, right? And I don't kill people. But I have lost a lot of empathy for when I see somebody get killed on TV. Has that changed me as a person? Has it changed us as a society? We don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out 20 years from now, right?
Suppose.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for watching Modern Minds. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hit us up on Twitter